Good morning. Yeah, this is Rex. Okay, so we are going to see about the deflection of pre-stress concrete in fifth unit. Okay, so we have completed the fourth unit, loss of pre-stress, everything. Also, sorry, anchorage zone, anchorage stresses using Magnus and Goyen's theorem. Okay, so in this unit we are going to see about deflection. Actually, this unit consists of two parts. One is composite materials or composite construction of pre-stressed concrete, and another one is deflection of pre-stressed concrete. So today we are going to see about deflection of pre-stressed concrete. So this deflection normally, if in case of beams, the deflection normally will occur, but in pre-stressed concrete there are two types of deflections. One is short-term deflection and another one is long-term deflection. So this deflections should be in control uh, for the existence of the pre-stressed concrete members. Okay, so let us go to the theory part of this deflection of pre-stressed concrete. So it is general practice according to various national codes. The structural concrete members should be designed to have adequate stiffness to limit the deflection. Okay, so the deflection should be within the limit, okay, which may adversely affect the strength or serviceability of the structure. So if there is excessive amount of deflection, the service life of the structure will be very less. When the deflection is very less, the member will be having sufficient strength, and the durability of the structure will be, or the member will be more. Okay, so what is the reasons for control of deflection? So there are three reasons. One is excessive sagging of principal structural members, excessive sagging. So excessive deformation, if a room is there and the height of the room is 3 meters, and the depth of the beam actually it is provided as 230 mm or 300 mm from the roof. If there is excess amount of deflection, we feel that there is an unsafe condition inside the room. So, if there is only less amount of sag or deflection due to the service loads, we can be inside the room with full safety. Okay. So let us go to the reasons. Excessive sagging of principal structural member is not only unsightly, but at all times also renders the floor unsuitable for the intended use. Okay, so if there is more amount of deflection, the floor can't be used. It will feel unsafe, and it will not be good in aesthetic point of view. Okay, then second point, large deflection under dynamic effects and under the influence of various loads may cause discomfort to the users. Okay, large deflection will cause discomfort because it will be projecting outwards. The headroom of the headroom will not be that much higher, that much easier. Okay, then third point, excessive deflections are likely to cause damage to finishes, partitions and associated structures. Okay, excessive deflection cause damages. So if there is more amount of deflection, cracks will occur in the beam. Okay, so factors influencing deflection. So what are the factors that influence the deflection? So first one, self weight and imposed load. So what are the types of loads which is coming over the structural member? Here we are going to deal maximum with the beam. So let us consider the beam point of view, and we will discuss the factors influencing the deflection. So self weight and the imposed loads, if there is more amount of loads which is placed over the beam, it will surely deflect. So because the capacity or the moment of resistance of the beam will be less when compared to the service loads which is placed over that member. So if the moment of resistance is less and the load is high, excessive deflection will take place. The magnitude of the pre-stressing force. So whatever the we are providing the tendons in order to control the deflection, but if there is more amount of pre-stressing force, the camber portion of the beam will be unsafe, will be not nice. There will be a hogging curvature will be developed in the beam, so it will be unsafe and it can be used. So excessive amount of pre-stressing force should be avoided. So what is required, that has to be provided in the beam. Okay, next, cable or the tendon force. Okay, so cable, the in case of this point, so if how many number of cables we are providing and how much number of force in each cable we are going to provide has to be analyzed in this factors. Okay, so that also affect one of the deflection properties. Then second, moment of area of cross section. Then modulus of elasticity of the concrete, it depends upon the stress strain ratio of the thing and how much the concrete has sufficient strength, whether it is prescribed as per pre-stressed concrete or not. Then shrinkage, creep and relaxation of stresses, relaxation of steel stress. Okay, so we have seen the losses of stress in second unit itself, shrinkage cracks or shrinkage losses or creep and relaxation of stresses in the pre-stressed cable. So that also influence the deflection criteria also, because if the pre-stressing force is relaxed in future time, that means after 5 years of placing the concrete or after 2 years or after 10 years, so if it is lost, the pre-stressing force is lost, ultimately it becomes as a normal CC beam and thereby deflection will be more. So there won't be any pre-stressing force acting. So it depends upon the losses of pre-stressing force during the lifetime of the structure. The next one, span of the member. If there is span of the member is less, there won't be any too much amount of deflection. If the span is more, there will be surely deflection will occur. Then fixed conditions, whether the beam or the beam is fixed in a placed in a simply supported condition or a fixed condition. So those conditions also affect the deflection properties, whether it is the deflection is within the limit or it is having excessive deflection. Okay, so these are the factors influencing the deflection. Then coming to the short-term deflection of uncracked members, there are two types of things. One is short-term, that means in short-term deflection and long-term deflection, there are two types of members, that is uncracked members and cracked members. Okay, so let us go to the uncracked members first. So short-term deflection of pre-stressed members are governed by the bending moment distribution along the span and the flexural rigidity of the member. Okay, so it is governed by the bending moment distribution diagram. Okay, bending moment distribution diagram and the flexural rigidity, that is flexural rigidity is the EI value, Young's modulus of concrete and the second moment. Okay, so here for finding the, if there is a deflection, automatically slope will be there and the deflection slope will be there at the near the supports and the deflection, maximum deflection will be calculated at the middle of the beam. Okay, so there are two conditions for this. For these two we need to identify. So for these things, most moment area theorems are readily applicable for estimation of deflections due to pre-stressing force, self-height and imposed loads. So here most theorem, there are two theorems. One is slope theorem and another is moment theorem. So slope theorem, these two theorems are easily useful for the analysis or the calculation of deflection due to the pre-stressing force, self-weight and the imposed loads which is acting over the beam. Okay. Coming to the next thing, this is the analysis of the Morse theorem. Okay, so not analysis of Morse theorem, it is the short-term deflection, how what we are going to take over. Okay, so consider this simply supported beam. So consider this is a beam, A, B is the beam. Okay, so it is simply supported at both the ends. Okay, so it has a maximum deflection at the point C. It has the maximum deflection at the point C and the deflection is taken as mentioned as A and the slope is mentioned as theta. Okay, so ACB is the center line of the deformed structure under loads. So this is the deformed structure of the this beam when it is subjected to external loads. Okay, when it is subjected to external loads, and theta is the slope of the elastic curve A, and A is the deflection at the center of the symmetrically loaded SSB means simply supported beam. Okay, so deflection at the center of the symmetrically loaded simply supported beam. Then A is the area of the bending moment diagram between A and C. Okay, so this is the area of the bending moment diagram. So this is the area. here we have calculated based on for calculation of the purpose. Okay, consider this is a bending moment, and here this area we are going to find the thing. Okay, so on x is the distance of the centroid of the bending moment diagram. So this is the x is the centroid of the bending moment diagram between A and C from the left hand support. So this is the area. So here we are going to find the centroid, and the centroid is located at the distance of x. Okay, the next EI. So EI is the flexural rigidity of the beam. Okay, Young's modulus and the moment. So flexural rigidity of the beam. So according to Moore's first theorem, okay, according to Moore's first theorem, slope is calculated using area of the bending moment diagram divided by flexural rigidity. So the slope, to find the slope, Morse explained using the first theorem that it can be found by area of the bending moment diagram divided by the flexural rigidity of the beam. So to find slope, the formula is theta is equal to A divided by EI. And according to Moore's second theorem, deflection can be found. Okay, deflection we are mentioning the term A. Okay, so which is equal to moment of the area of bending moment diagram. So this is the moment of the area of bending moment diagram. Okay, moment of area of bending moment diagram divided by flexural rigidity. So which is equal to AX by EI. Okay, so slope formula is area of the bending moment diagram divided by flexural rigidity. Here moment of the area of bending moment diagram divided by EI for calculating the deflection. Okay, so if there is unsymmetrical loading, complicated problems are solved by both the Moore's theorem. So here we have seen only symmetrical loading. Okay, here we have seen symmetrical loading in case of UDL through the beam, and in case of concentrated loading having symmetric in structures. For simply supported beam, it can be solved by symmetrical thing can be solved by second moment of area of theorem using Moore's. Okay, if there is unsymmetrical thing, it can be solved by both slope and deflection formulas. Okay, slope and deflection formulas can be used to solve all those things. Okay, next one, these are the effect of tendon profiles on deflection. Okay, so first there are, as we said already, there are different types of tendon profiles, or the cable profile, or it can be called as cable layout. Okay, it can be called as cable layout. So there are straight tendon, parabolic tendon, trapezoidal tendon, triangular form of tendon cable can be provided, and eccentric form of cable can be provided. Okay, parabolic cable profile can be provided. So there are different types of cable profiles. These cable profiles is based on the layout where how the cables are provided inside the member. Okay, or the beam. Okay, so let us calculate the first cable profile. So first is straight tendon. Okay, first is straight tendon. So this is the beam. Okay, this is the beam. So this is the center line of the beam. Okay, so cable is provided at an eccentricity E from the neutral axis. Okay, E from the neutral axis. So this is the this P is the pre-stressing force given to the cable. This is the pre-stressing force given to the cable, and this is the eccentricity E. Okay, so for this the bending moment diagram is P into E, that is a pre-stressing force into E, and due to the self weight there will be a deflection. Okay, due to the self weight of the beam, even though it is not having a live load, there will be self weight for the beam. So for self weight there will be a deflection, the bending moment. So the bending moment will be maximum for self weight and minimum at the zero at the supports. Okay, so there will be a bending moment here. So here we are going to consider one sign. So due to bending, due to the self weight, the beam will tend to bend in sagging position like this. Okay, this mouse pointer position like this. Okay, so but if you are providing pre-stressed cable, the beam will tend to provide upwards, that is like a camber in the road. Okay, camber in the road, I think you have hear this word camber. So it is like this. Okay, so here the upward deflection is taken as negative. Here we are considering the upward deflection to be considered as negative. Okay, so this is the cable. So here we are going to calculate based on the pre-stressing cable. So it is taken as minus. Okay, So minus PE into L. So this is the PE into total length L divided by 2 into 1 by 2 of, so bending moment half of the thing. In that half of the thing we are going to calculate the deflection. Okay, so PE into PE is the bending moment value magnitude into the L divided by 2. Okay, it becomes half into half of the length divided by 2. Okay, so half of the length divided by 2. Okay, so divided by the flexural rigidity EI. So A is equal to minus PE L square divided by A 8 EI. Okay, so for straight tendons, for calculation of deflection, having the precessing force having an eccentricity E, A is equal to minus P into E into L square by 8 EI. Okay, next coming to parabolic tendons. Okay, so parabolic tendon centrally anchored. So this is the cable profile. This is a parabolic tendon. Okay, this is a parabolic tendon. So it is having an eccentricity E, and the cable is stretched. That is, it is applied with a pre-stressing force. It is applied with a pre-stressing force, and this is the total length, and half of the length is L by 2. Okay, half of the length is L by 2. So due to the parabolic cable which is centrally anchored, this is anchored at the center of the beam. Okay, that is on the neutral axis of the beam. Okay, so for that the deflection is like this. So this is P into E. Okay, and for finding the central will be around here. So it is 5 by 8 into L by 2. Okay, 5 by 8 into L by 2. And this is for the self weight. So if you need to find the deflection for this parabolic tendon and the centrally anchored, so A is equal to PE into, that is the PE into the distance is L by 2 of 2 by 3rd. Okay, 2 by 3rd of L by 2, that is the formula, into 5 by 8 of L by 2. In that it is half. Okay, divided by EI. Okay, 5 by 8 of L by 2 divided by EI. So A is equal to minus 5 PE L square by 48 EI. Okay, A is equal to minus 5 PE L square by 48 EI. So this is the deflection formula for finding the parabolic tendon which are centrally anchored. Okay. Then parabolic cables. So parabolic cables which are eccentrically anchored. So eccentrically anchored means which has eccentricity at the ends also. Okay, so this is the cable. Okay, so this is the parabolic cable which has an eccentricity E1 below the neutral axis, and at the ends of the anchoring point, here will be the anchor, no, at the ends of the anchoring point it is having an eccentricity E2. Okay, so this is the bending moment diagram for the parabolic cable which is provided on the beam. Okay, which is provided on the beam, and the total distance is L by 2. Okay, and the total distance is L by 2. So this is the bending moment. This is the bending moment. Okay, and the maximum magnitude of the bending moment, it will be at the center. So that is minus P into E1 into E2. This minus indicates it is an upward deflection. Okay, the minus indicates it is an upward deflection, and here the centroid is 5 by 8 of L by 2. Okay, and here is the this is for the eccentricities. Okay, this is for the eccentricities having a eccentricity below the neutral axis, and this is the diagram, bending moment diagram for the eccentricity above the centroid of the anchors. Okay, above the neutral axis at the end anchors, and this is for the deflection. Okay, this is for the deflection. So for this the total deflection is calculated like this: A is equal to PL square by 48 EA into minus 5 E1 plus E2. Okay, total deflection A is equal to PL square by 48 EA into minus 5 E1 plus E2. Okay, so coming to the trapezoidal tendons. So trapezoidal tendons, this is the cable profile of the tendon. Okay, so it is along the trapezoidal tendons which is anchored at the along the neutral axis. Okay, so it is having eccentricity at the bottom of the neutral axis, and this is this slope length is taken as L1, the not slope length. The trapezoidal tendon which have the position like trapezoidals. Okay, the cable is bent at this point. So at this point the total length of the beam is L1. From here to the center of the beam is L2, and from center of the beam to this bent portion of the cable is L2. The remaining is L1. Okay, so here it is anchored, the end anchorages are at the along the neutral axis point. Okay, so here if you take that this is the bending moment diagram of the uh, trapezoidal tendons. Okay, it is P into E, so precessing force into the eccentricity. Okay, so into these two moment areas are subdivided into two categories. One is the rectangular area and another one is the triangular area. Okay, another one is the this is rectangular area and this is triangular area. So it is taken as minus P into E into L1 divided by 2. This is the first. Okay, L1 divided by 2 into L1 by 3. Okay, 1 by third of L1 divided by 2. So that is that they have taken, plus PE into L2. Okay, PE into L2 into L1 plus L2 by 2. Okay, L1 plus L2 by 2. And this is the bending moment diagram for a self weight of the beam. So total deflection A is equal to minus P into E divided by 6 EI into 2 L1 square plus 6 L1 L2 plus 3 L2 square. So this is the deflection formula for trapezoidal tendons which have anchored, which are end anchored along the neutral axis. Okay, next one, sloping tendons with eccentric anchors. Okay, sloping tendons with eccentric axis. So this is the sloping tendons. It is also otherwise called as triangular form of tendon profile. Okay, triangular form of tendon profile. So this is the beam. So it is also having an eccentricity E2 on both sides on the end anchors, and it has a value of E1 at the center of the beam, that is below the neutral axis of the beam. Okay, so here this is the bending moment diagram for this sloping tendon with eccentric axis. This is the self weight diagram for the bending moment diagram for the pre-stressed concrete beam. Okay, so for this the total deflection is calculated as PL square divided by 24 EI into minus 2 into E1 plus E2. So these formulas you need to by heart that for solving the problems. So coming to the next thing, parabolic and straight tendon. Parabolic and straight tendon. So this is the rectangular beam. So there will be a parabolic portion here. Okay, there will be a parabolic portion here, and here the eccentricity will be E, and it will be straight up to the portion of this length, and after that it will be parabolic in nature, and it will be anchored along the neutral axis of the beam. Okay, so it consists of both a combination of parabolic cable profile and straight cable profile. Okay, so for this the thing is, that means the deflection is A is equal to minus P into E divided by EI into 5 L1 square plus 12 L1 L2 plus 6 L2 square. Okay, so in the same way this is concentric tendons. Here it is eccentric anchoring. Okay, concentric anchoring, and here it is eccentric. So it is having a E2 on the end anchors. There is an eccentricity, other things remain the same. So for that A is equal to minus P into E1 plus E2 divided by 12 EI into 5 L1 square plus 12 L1 L2 plus 6 L2 square. Okay, plus PE into L square by 8 EI. So this is the formula, deflection formula for finding parabolic and straight tendon with eccentric anchoring. Okay, so coming to the short-term deflection problems. Okay, so coming to the short-term deflection problems. So here we are going to solve around 3 problems. Okay, here we are going to solve around three problems. So the concrete beam of rectangular section 500 mm deep and 300 mm wide is pre-stressed by two post-tensioned cables of area 600 mm square. Okay, so it consists of two post-tensioned cables, both as a combined of two post-tensioned cables, each one having 600 mm square area. Initially, and it is initially stressed to 1600 Newton per mm square, and the cables are located at a constant eccentricity of 100 mm. Okay, so it is not a, it is a straight cable profile, but it has an eccentricity of 100 mm throughout the length of the beam of span 10 meters. Throughout the length of the beam of span 10 meters. So the modulus of elasticity of steel and concrete are 210 kilonewton per mm square and 38 kilonewton per mm square respectively. So here we need to find two parts of the question. So one is neglecting all losses, find deflection at center of the span. Next, allowing 20% loss in pre-stress, find the final deflection at the center of the span when it carries an imposed load of 18 kilonewton per meter. Okay, and the density of concrete they have given. So this is the cable profile. This is the cable. So having a dimension of 350 mm, sorry, 300, what is it? 300 mm, 300 mm and 500 mm. Okay. So this is span is 10 meter. It is having a, this is the pre-stressing cable. Okay, this is the neutral axis. This top is the neutral axis. Bottom is the pre-stressing cable. So live load they have given us 18 kilonewton per meter. Pre-stressing force P is equal to 1600 into 600 into 2. So 600 into 2 means this is the initial cross-sectional area of one cable into two numbers of cables are there into 2 into the initial pre-stressing forces 1600. So the total P is equal to 1920 kilonewton. Next, self weight of the beam is equal to dimensions of the beam into unit weight of concrete. So unit weight of the concrete is 25 into dimension is 0.5 into 0.3, which gives 3.6 kilonewton per meter. Okay, then upward deflection due to pre-stressing force. Upward deflection due to pre-stressing force, which is equal to minus P into E L square by 8 EI. Okay, minus P E L square by 8 EI. So this is the formula for finding upward deflection due to pre-stressing force. So I is equal to, for here we know value of P, E we know 100 and L we know. So we know the modulus of elasticity of concrete as well, but we don't know I. So I we need to calculate. So I is equal to 300 into 500 cube divided by 12. So which is equal to 3125 into 10 power 6 mm power 4. Okay. So since it is an upward pressure, since the cable is provided with an eccentricity of 100 mm below the neutral axis, so when it is stretched, the beam will be tend to come to a hogging position. So that the upward force or upward deflection, here we are going to take it as negative value. Okay, so it is taken as minus. So 1920 into 10 power 3 into 100 into this L is 10,000 square divided by 8 into 38 into 10 power 3 is the E, and I is 3125 into 10 power 6. Okay, so if you solve this, you will get minus 20.21 mm. Okay, then downward deflection due to live load. So live load they have given as well as self weight we have calculated. So for all those things we need to calculate the deflection. So till now we have calculated the pre-stressing upward deflection due to pre-stressing force we have calculated, that is minus 20.21. Now we are going to calculate the downward deflection due to live load. So due to gravity, the deflection will be downwards to when we calculate for self weight and live load. So self weight, which is equal to 5 by 384 WL power 4 by EI. Okay, 5 the formula is 5 WL power 4 by 384 EI. Okay, so here 5 by 384 we have provided, W is 18 into L is 18 is live load. Okay, what they have given in the question. Okay, and L is 10,000 power 4 divided by 38. This is E, 38 into 10 power 3 into I is 3125 into 10 power 6. So which is equal to 19.74 mm. Okay, and coming to the self weight. Okay, so self weight we have calculated here. So sulfate 3.6 kilonewton per meter. So that for that we are going to calculate the thing. So the same formula 5 by 384 WL power 4 by I. So W is 3.6, other things remaining the same. So if you solve this, you will get 3.95 mm. Okay. So neglecting, we have two parts of the question. One is neglecting losses, we need to find the deflection. So deflection at the center is equal to, so this is the pre-stressing force, upward pre-stressing force, upward deflection due to pre-stressing force, and this is downward deflection due to the loads. So minus 20 plus 19.74, this is the live load, and plus 3.95. So it is having a deflection of 3.48. So 3.48 mm sagging deflection at the center, neglecting the losses. Okay. So if you consider the loss, that means losses in pre-stress. Okay, so 20 percentage loss as given in the question. Okay, so if you take that, the deflection is equal to minus 0.8, that means not minus indicates the upward deflection. Okay, nothing but no anything, not anything, this minus indicates upward deflection, that's all. Then 0.8, 20% loss means remaining 80% is there, so it is 0.8 into 20.21 plus 19.74 is the low deflection due to live load, and 3.95 is deflection due to self weight, so which is equal to 7.52 mm. Okay, 7.52 mm. So this is the deflection. So this is the first problem. So let us move to the next problem. Okay, so a rectangular concrete beam of cross section 150 mm wide and 300 mm deep is simply supported having an area span of 8 meter. Having a span of 8 meter, and it is pre-stressed by means of a parabolic cable. Okay, it is pre-stressed by means of parabolic cable at a distance of 75 mm from the bottom of the beam. Okay, so it is having a distant parabolic cable, it is provided. Eccentricity is 75 mm from the bottom of the beam, and midspan and that is at midspan, and 125 mm from the top of the beam at support section. Okay, so if the force in the cable is 350 kilonewton and the modulus of elasticity of the concrete is 38 kilonewton per mm square, calculate deflection at midspan when the beam is supporting its weight and pre-stress. Second part of the question is the concentrated load which must be applied at midspan to restore it to the level of the supports. So we need to find the concentrated load also. So this is the beam what they have given in the question. Okay, so its dimension is 150 mm wide by 300 mm deep. Okay, it is having a parabolic cable. Here it is 75 mm from bottom of the beam at the supports. So total is 300 mm. So total is 300 mm deep. So it is 300 mm deep. So here it is 150 and top it is 150. So from bottom also if it is 75, from here neutral axis also that eccentricity will be 75 only. And that and 125 mm from the top of the beam at the support section. So there is also eccentricity at the end anchorages here. So 125 mm means there is total to 150 mm from the neutral axis to the top of the beam. Okay, so here 25 mm will come if you neglect 125 mm from the top. Okay, okay. So the pre-stressing load, if the force in the cable is 350 kilonewton, they have mentioned the question. So P is equal to 350 kilonewton, and I is equal to, since it is rectangular, BDQ by 12. So B is 150 and D is 300 divided by 12. So which is equal to 337.5 into 10 power 6 mm power 4. Okay, so E is equal to, as given in the question, 38 kilonewton per mm square. Then coming to the calculation of self weight. Okay, self weight of the beam. So which is equal to 25 into 0.3. 25 is the unit weight of concrete into 0.3 and into 0.15 is the dimensions of the beam. So if you solve this, you will get 1.08 kilonewton per meter. Then upward deflection due to pre-stress. So this is a parabolic cable having eccentricity at the end anchorages also. So for that the formula is PL square by 48A into minus 5E1 plus E2. Okay, minus 5E1 plus E2. So if you solve this, you will get minus 12.74 mm. Okay, minus 12.74 mm you will get. So P is 350, L is total length 8 meter divided by 48 into E, you know, 38 into 10 power cube, and I is 37.5 into 10 power 6, and E1 the value is 75. Here it is E1 and the edges are E2 always. So E1 is 75 and E2 is 25. Okay, if you solve this, you will get the upward deflection due to pre-stress, that is minus 12.74 mm. Okay, the next downward deflection due to dead load. So downward deflection due to dead load. So that is due to dead load. It is the same formula, since it is simply supported beam 5 WL power 4 by 384 EA. So here they have calculated 5 by 384 into W is 1.08 is the dead load what we have calculated, into L power 4 is 8008 meter, that is 8000 power 4, divided by E is 38 into 10 power 4, and I is 337.5 into 10 power 6. So which is equal to 4.49 mm. So this is due to downwards. So here this minus indicates it is towards upwards. Okay, so the net deflection. So first question, net deflection is deflection due to pre-stress and downward and self weight dead load. So but dead deflection due to pre-stress is towards upwards deflection, so it is minus. Here downward deflection is 4.49, that is due to dead load, it is going towards gravity, so it is plus. So if you solve this, you will get minus 8.25 mm. Okay, then equating this deflection to WL power del cube by 48 EY. Okay, so what is the second question? So the concentrated load which must be applied at midspan. So we need to find the concentrated load to restore it to the level of the supports. So WL power 4 by 48 EI. So this W we need to find. So if this deflection, so this deflection is 8.25, which is equal to W into 8000 A. W we need to know. Okay, for neutralizing the support, that means if there should be no deflection, that is equal to support, what should be the W they have asked? So W into 8000 cube divided by 48 into 38 into 10 power 3, that is the E, and I is 337.5 into 10 power 6. So if you solve this, you will get 9.92 kilonewton. Okay, so this is the second problem. So coming to the third problem. Okay, coming to the third problem. So the concrete beam. So this is the concrete beam with the cross sectional area 32 into 10 power 3 mm square, and the radius of gyration 72 mm is pre-stressed by a parabolic cable carrying an effective stress of 1000 Newton per mm square. Okay, it is having a parabolic cable and the effective stress in the cable is 1000 Newton per mm square. Okay, so the span of the beam is 8 meters. So this is the span of the beam, 8 meter. If the cable is composed of 6 wires of 7 mm diameter, okay, if the cable is having 6 wires of 7 mm diameter and has an eccentricity of 50 mm at the center and 0 at supports, so there is no end eccentricities. The end anchorage eccentricity is not there. Okay, so it is a parabolic thing, eccentricity of 50 mm at the center and 0 at the supports, and neglect all losses. Find the central deflection of the beam as follows. So they have given the live load value. First, self weight plus pre-stress they have asked. Second question, self weight plus live load plus pre-stress they have asked. Okay, so let us go for parabolic tendon having an eccentricity E. Having an eccentricity E and is 0 eccentricity as supports, the formula is 5 P E L square by 48 EA. So this minus indicates it is upward deflection. Okay, so for this I we don't know, so they have given they didn't give the dimensions of the beam, but they have given the radius of gyration. Okay, so using that radius of gyration, we are going to find the I. So I is radius of gyration is equal to root of I by A. I is equal to gyration square, radius of gyration square into A. So which is equal to 72 square into 32 into 10 power 3. Okay, 32 into 10 power 3. So which you can get I is equal to 165.89 into 10 power 6 mm power 4. Okay. So for pre-stressing force, P is equal to 1000 into this is the 1000 is the pre-stressing force into area. So instead of giving the area, they have given 6 wires of 7 mm diameter square. They have mentioned in the question. So here they have mentioned 6 wires of 7 mm diameter. Okay. So that has to be calculated. So area here they are calculated 6 into pi by 4 into 7 square. So load into area is the pre-stressing force. Sorry, stress into area, that is pre-stressing force. So P is equal to 230.91 kilonewton. So this 1000 is the pre-stressing initial pre-stressing force that they have given in the question. Effective stress of 1000. So stress into area, load is equal to stress into area. So P is equal to 230.91 kilonewton. Then coming to calculation of self weight. Self weight is equal to 32 into 10 power 3 into 10 power 6 into 24. So this is the total cross section of the beam. So here they have mentioned here. So the beam is with the cross section of 32 into 10 power 3 mm square. So that mm square, 32 into 10 power 3 mm square, we are calculating in here in the form of meter. Okay, so 32 into 10 power 3, that into 10 power minus 6. Okay, 10 power minus 6 into unit weight of concrete. Here they have considered as 24. So which is equal to 0.768 kilonewton per meter. So the live load is equal to 2 kilonewton per meter. Okay. So this is given in the question live load. So coming to the first thing, upward deflection due to pre-stress. So the formula is minus 5 PEL square divided by 48 EI. So minus indicate the upward deflection. 5 into P is 230.91 into 10 power 3 into E is 50 mm into L is the length of the span, that is 8000 divided by 48 into E into I. So E is 38 into 10 power 3 into I is 165.89 into 10 power 6. So which is equal to 12.21 mm. So this minus indicates the upward deflection. So coming to the downward deflection due to self weight. So self weight means it is in the form of UDL load only. So the deflection criteria, deflection formula is 5WL power 4 by 384 EI. Okay, so 5 by 384 into 0.768, that is the self weight load, into L power 4, L is 8000 power 4 divided by E 38 into 10 power 3 into 165.87 into 10 power 6, that is I. Okay, so if you solve this, you will get 6.5 mm. Okay, 6.5 mm. Then deflection at midspan due to self weight plus pre-stress. Okay, midspan due to self weight and pre-stress. So which is equal to, so this is the upward deflection, sun plus self weight, self deflection due to self weight. So minus 12.21 plus 6.5. So it is 5.71. So it is upward deflection. So it is in minus. So here also it gives upward deflection. Okay. So then downward deflection due to live load. Downward deflection due to live load. So live load is also in the form of UDL. So live load is 2, they have given in the question. So it is 5 WL power 4 by 384 EI, the same formula. So 5 by 384 into L is 2 into, sorry, W is 2 and L is 8000 power 4 divided by 38 into 10 power 3 into 165.89 into 10 power 6 is I. So if you solve this, you will get a deflection of 16.92 mm. 16.92 mm. Okay. So then deflection at midspan due to self weight plus pre-stress plus live load. Okay. So if self weight, this pre-stress is minus 12.21, self weight is 6.5 and live load is 16.92. Okay. So if you solve this, you will get the deflection at the midspan is 11.21 while considering self weight, live load and pre-stress. Okay, so this is the total deflection. Okay, so this is the short term deflection theory as well as problems. Okay, so in the next class we will see about the long term deflection.